Hello, hello. Okay. I don't know why you guys couldn't hear me. Why? How come this happens every time? Gosh, it's so confusing. Okay, well, what if I did that? Nope. Well, I guess it's not gonna do it for me. Okay. Are we laggy too? Wow. Alright, well, we're just gonna keep rolling. So let's go ahead and import some footage inside of Premiere. And we're gonna do some color correction. But yeah, color correction, color grading, and LUTs. I apologize for you guys not being able to hear me at first. So let's go ahead and add in something good here. Okay, maybe we can let's get something from Hawaii Day 3, I guess. This should be good, right? Yeah, I think this is a good one actually. Okay. So let's pop this in here. Let's drag it into the timeline. Okay. Everything looking good? Think so? Cool. Alright. So we got our clip in here. And what I want to do is, first off, let's bring this down. Actually, I'll mute this. Okay. So I need to make this look better, right? So this is a pretty nice clip. I want to make it look even nicer. I want to bring the blues out and the greens out. But before I do that, we're just going to do some basic color correction, which is taking the blacks and whites of the video and making sure that they kind of like match up pretty well. So sometimes you can have really harsh whites and really harsh blacks. I guess some examples of that is if like you're shooting outside. I mean, these are pretty harsh blacks. You can see inside of the bush right here, and it's because it's so bright out. So like generally when you're shooting in sunlight and it's that bright, the when it's that bright, the contrast between black and white is very stark. So like if you want to capture like this bush in the green here, in order to get it in all of its glory, you have to have your camera settings changed or have it on auto, and your camera will automatically try to get the green out while the black is very black, because the sun is probably directly above you. Now, if you have softer lighting, that wouldn't be the case. It would be more of like a darker green rather than a black. So it just depends on like how bright it is outside, and that kind of determines how harsh the blacks and whites are. And so, but if we do have an issue, we use Lumetri color. Okay, and I'm just gonna drag any of these Lumetris on here, and I'm just gonna pop it on. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and reset this so that now nothing's happening inside of the Lumetri color. And we're gonna go under basic correction. And under here, you'll see temperature, tint, exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, blacks, and whites. So this area, exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, blacks, and whites, this is what matters to us. This is how we control the amount of black and white involved in the video. So we can add some exposure. We can bring some of the exposure down. Generally, I think I might like bring it down a little bit because I don't want it to be super bright this time. The highlights are already pretty white. You can see the splashes. It's already pretty good. But if I bring the shadows up, it kind of gets rid of those blacks. It almost does. Or if I just bring the blacks up, it gets rid of the harsh blacks, okay? And then I can kind of balance them back out by using some contrast. Alright, just kind of seep some contrast back in here. You can see in the bushes, it's a little different. So if we turn it off, turn it back on. Okay, so let's see. And then maybe we can add some more saturation to the green. So in order to get the exact green, I'm gonna go to color wheels and match. I think, or maybe is it curves? Might be curves. Yeah, okay, so it's hue saturation curves. So what am I gonna do? I would like to take the green, okay, kind of create some points around it and just kind of boost it up. And as I boost it, should be able to see some more of that green popping. Okay, maybe kind of. There we go. It's more in like the yellowish area. Okay, so that green is totally popping now. You can tell, see it's like black and white now, and now it's very light green. So we're gonna not have it be super green, but I at least want it to be pretty well saturated, okay? So that's good for the curves. And that was just like, just trying to get the color to stay. Trying to keep the color while I'm messing with the blacks and whites. So that's why I dove into that, okay? So if we turn this off, there's that. Turn it back on. There, so we keep the green. We still got some good blues. And we look good, okay? So maybe we can add a little more contrast. Nah, it kind of ruins the bush. Okay, so I would say that this is pretty decently well color corrected, okay? We could definitely do another clip in a bit, but I want to go on to doing a little bit of color grading on this one as well, okay? Apologize for my sniffles. Okay, so for color grading, I want to do another Lumetri color effect, okay? So I'm going to drag another Cinespace 25 on here. I'm going to hit the reset button, and Premiere Pro has these little shortcuts to help you color grade faster, and it calls them looks. So if you go under creative, you can see there's this active button, which is what we need, and then we got looks, and it currently says none. So if we kind of scroll through here, we'll see that there's a whole bunch, and I have 2 monitors right now, so it's going off the top of my screen, but if I just click on any of these, it's going to add a specific look to it. So if I do that, that's some gold heat, apparently. It's not too much gold. Whew. Then we got matrix blue. We got matrix green. There's a lot of different presets that you can use if you feel like using. We got clean Fuji. Noir, so it's really just black and white, 1965. It's Noir with HDR, apparently. But yeah, all sorts of different ones here. There's a blue steel. And then what else? We got blue ice. So yeah, a bunch of different kinds, different types of color grading. Okay, there is one, I believe there's one that's kind of like Hollywood. I might have to make it myself. Let's see. Okay, so what we can do is we can do the Cinespace one, which is at the very top of the list. Okay, and I'm not sure exactly what it's adding, but like you can see it. Like it's definitely some like darker shades of everything. So that essentially like destroys our color correction. But what I want to do instead is let's see, without using the tint effect, let's see, or like there's an actual effect called tint inside of Premiere. Hello, what's going on? But without using the tint effect inside of Premiere, let's see if we can use temperature and tint to create that Hollywood effect. Now, I don't think we will because tint is like green and magenta. You can see that if I scroll left or right, it makes it green or magenta. And temperature makes it blue or yellow. But I kind of want to do blue and yellow at the exact same time. So let's go ahead and do a tint. Okay, so let's just put this on top. And what we're gonna do, so we're gonna map the black to like a darkish blue. Map the white to like a goldish orange. Okay, I'm gonna change the tint here. Actually, we're gonna leave this up. But I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna drag it down so we can prioritize certain effects. Okay, I'm gonna kind of, you know what? This actually isn't the best way to do it. I'm going to cut this out. Okay, so I cut it out. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to create an adjustment layer. I'm going to pop this on there. Throw it on. Put it on the adjustment layer. And then what we're going to do is we're going to multiply. Or we can actually just kind of roll through here. See how well this tint is going to have its effects based on the blending mode. See that? Uh-oh. So I'm looking for more of a gold color brand. A little too gold. A little darker color. I mean, that's drying. A lighter color. But yeah, there's so many little options here that you can mess around with to kind of achieve your desired effect. Now, I think I might. What was it? What was it? The Vivid? No, it was. There's one that I liked. Was this one? This is not too bad. Let's see what the other shots look like. So it's looking a little gray. If I took this off, you're gonna see. So it's really, I mean, it just depends on your taste. Now, I don't know if Hawaii is generally the right place to have that Hollywood vibe, which I'm currently failing to achieve because, it's just like ocean and greenery. Comparison? Yeah, absolutely. I could definitely do a comparison. I could do a comparison right now. You can see kind of the progress that we've made. So this is the little tint that I've added. So I can take that off. And I can also take off color effects that we've added. So this is the original clip. It's kind of dull. And then I did some extra color correction, and it was kind of specific with the exposure and contrast and shadows and blacks. I was really trying to get the bushes to look a little bit more realistic and less harsh. Oh, there's nothing in there, right? So let me delete that. So I was doing my best, but generally when you're outside, and it's like around like noon, and that's when you're shooting. That's when you get the harshest light differential. So in order to pull the green out of the bushes when it's like 12 noon and you're filming, your camera would have to either auto adjust or you would have to manually adjust to the amount of light coming in. And what that does is it makes the shadows really, really dark. So you're going to want to make sure that you can balance out the shadows and the bright whites, because that's how you get the correct color. That's what color correction is. Like if you want to show people what the right, what colors are important to see, like this, the nice green and the blue, you want to make sure that the blacks and whites are balanced in order for them to kind of identify how beautiful it is. So if we get on here, I also went into the curves. I went into the hue and saturation curves, and I boosted the green right here. So it's hue versus saturation right here. There's other ones down here, hue versus hue and hue versus luma and all this stuff. But we're not using it right now. We're just using... Ooh, excuse me. We're just using hue versus saturation. No, it's just a little dusty. I do not have a cold, thank you. But yeah, so let's see if we can add another clip, get another example here. Maybe not from Hawaii. Maybe we can get some city footage. Let me change the view. Okay. Just trying. None of these previews are loading, so I'm just gonna select any old one. What is this? Oh my gosh, this is another one of water. Okay, hold on. I know you guys can see it. How about this one? Is this water too? Okay. Okay, this could work out well. Excuse me. Okay, so we've got a clip from Italy. This is from Venice. This is St. Mark's Square. And I would say that the objects don't really pop enough because the sky is just so white. And it was actually gray, but because of my exposure, it made it super white. So let's go ahead and add Lumetri color again. Go in here, just kind of drag it in. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this because I already had an effect on it. But let's go into basic correction. And I want to, what do I want to do first? I'm aiming for the blacks and whites, but do I want to focus on the blacks? I think I'm going to just add some contrast. I mean, that'll really definitely do it. Bring down some exposure, see what we see. Okay, so you can see the sky in the background there. So there is some information. But I just don't want it to be too bright, you know? Okay. So let's see how this looks. Try to balance that out a little bit. It looks pretty good. Okay. And then we got St. Mark's Cathedral. So let's see if we can... Maybe we can just boost the saturation overall. Just kind of get that orange to pop more. Because it's just a black and white building. So I'm just boosting it right here. Put it to like 117. It's actually pretty high. Oh my gosh, I made the pillar like purple. Okay, hold on. That's not what I want. If I go back to 0, oops, I mean 100. Okay, the pillar's already kind of purple. Maybe I can go to like 105. Okay, so I would say this is pretty good on the blacks and whites. And that's the idea with color correction, right? It's just about the blacks and whites. Now, let's do another layer of color grading. So, instead of doing it in the same effect, let's drag another Lumetri color in. And we just put a Cinespace on it. And it actually doesn't look that bad. I mean, it says custom, but I can go all the way up to Cinespace. Okay. So, let me turn this off and back on. Alright. Oh, you know what would be useful? Is... I wonder if I can show both sides at the same time. The before and after at the same time. I think I can do it. Well, I think I can. Yes, yes indeed. I will correct the left side. Keep the right side. Okay, so let's do a little crop for you guys. Right. So I'll be correcting the top layer while I do that. You'll be able to see the regular one. Okay. So you can see there's kind of like a line. Actually, I'm going to make it not 50% because we can't even see what we did to the cathedral. So let's do like that. There we go. Okay, so now we can kind of see what we've done. Alright, on the left and right there. No, okay. So let's go ahead and keep going. Let's do a grade, which is where we were at. Currently got the Cinespace going. Keep adding, see that? It gets really intense. You can make it 200 intensity. But if we do 100, maybe we can do the noir, get a black and white going. Gold tobacco. Ooh, that's fascinating. I turn that off and turn it back on. I kind of like that. It's just like a little hint of gold. And it's kind of nice because there is a building that's made of predominantly gold down here on the right. So it kind of represents that a little bit. It does make St. Mark's Cathedral look... I don't think that's the cathedral. It's just the tower. Sorry. It just makes the tower look a little more orange with the yellow in it, but let's see. Gold Rush. Gold Western. I do like these golds. Gold orange. Changes the lights in there too. Big minus blue. Okay, so that subtracts blue apparently. It doesn't really do much at all. Bleach? Oh, bleach basically removed the color correction. I know you guys can't see this because it's off the screen. Yeah, I don't know if blue is good. It does stand out. Trying to find something, just trying to explore here. Because that's what we do on these live trainings. We just like to explore together. Alright. So let's see. Gold heat. Let's go back to gold tobacco. I thought that one was pretty good. But maybe I don't know. The color of the tower is just not ideal. This is what we got. It's not too bad. And it's this from the original. Okay, so that's the original. That's what we got. Okay, so we really brought that color in. And we definitely made a difference here. So yeah. We can keep going. If anyone has any questions, just let me know. Leave them in the comments. But for now... Oh, no, I don't want to open it. Okay. Let's go ahead and add another Clipperooski. And then after this one, I think we might go, unless there's further questions. Yeah, this guy is very overcast. It was just that day, and generally when you film in overcast, you don't want to film with such high exposure, which is what I did by accident. So it made the sky just look super white. But honestly, like, sorry for my sniffles. Honestly, I generally like to do brighter exposures whenever I film. I just like to have like more of a halo effect around the things that I film. Because that's kind of what we got going on here. That it's like glowing among the white, and it just really stands out. If there's sky, that means it kind of gets busier. So like this shot right here is a pretty simple shot that doesn't have too much going on other than what we need to see, which is what man built. We don't need to see the sky every time. Everyone knows what a beautiful sky looks like. You don't have to pair a beautiful sky with incredible architecture. The architecture should stand out more than the sky. So I guess that's an argument for having no real sky in this shot. But all in all, I think the sky is really mostly useful for like landscape photography. Yeah, that's really it. Everything else, like taking photos of architecture, you don't really need the sky to be too busy or too beautiful. It would be nice if it was just straight blue, but it wasn't the case. It was straight gray, and then it kind of blew out to white. For an indoor photo, yeah, obviously the sky is not really prevalent because there's a ceiling, but as far as indoor photos go, I think it's important to... The most important thing is the white balance. White balance is this little setting on your camera that, or your phone, that allows your camera to kind of look at the color white and balance out. Like, if you have like a color white, right? Like, so I have a piece of paper here. And, well, here. This is a receipt. Okay? So I have a receipt. So this, you can't really see it. Okay. So this is white, right? And my camera is color balanced. So like this looks like a correct color of white. Now this also is like super white. This little egg. These are my headphones. Okay, this is like my wireless headphones. So this is white, and that because you can see them and you can recognize them as white, as like we have the sky right now. Well, the sky's actually kind of yellow, but if I turn this off, it's more white. Okay, so you could see that as a correct white. Generally, when you have a camera, it might not automatically do the white balance. Today, it will. If you buy like a 2020 camera that was manufactured in 2020, it generally will have an automatic white balance. But when you're inside, the most important thing is that white balance. And then the lighting is super controllable. I mean, you can turn the lights on, you can turn the lights off, you can let sunlight in. Sunlight is always the best lighting, especially if you're taking indoor photos. But if it's nighttime, you want to take some photos, just keep all the lights on and don't let your camera be too high exposed. I mean, you can just keep it on auto. But the white balance has different presets, so it's basically based off of like the heat of light coming in, or the light on the light spectrum. Like, is it going to be too yellow or too white, or too green? So like, there's like incandescent light bulb settings, there's fluorescent light bulb settings, and those give off different hues of white. It's not always pure white. It's like some might have a little more magenta or some might have a little more yellow. So you want to make sure your camera is white balanced to that white. So it sees that as white, and it will be able to read how that light is hitting your subject, and your subject will look with the correct colors, right? Because you can take a photo of someone and they'll look super tan if you have the wrong white balance. So yeah. And generally you'll probably want more exposure when you're shooting indoors, because indoors does not have nearly as much lighting as outdoors, unless it's nighttime. And if that's the case, then I think you can be a good judge of if your photo's overexposed at night or not. But during the day, it's kind of hard, because when you're taking photos, you can't really see the screen. You just kind of, it's mostly because there's too much sunlight to really see the screen, so all the flares reflect and like all this stuff. So okay, let's should we do this clip? I know you guys can't see this. Hold on. Oh, I didn't know I added this one. Tan is good. Well, you don't want to look tan in a photo when you don't look tan in person, because sure, your subject might look tan, but like everything else will be off color too. So if everything's off color, then it's gonna make everything look weird. So you don't want to do that, because just because your subject looks tan, like, it doesn't mean that the things that are white in the background, or the things that have a shade of white in the background, don't look a little more yellow or a little more tan or a little more, greenish, depending on the white balance setting that you selected. But generally, just stick with auto. Nowadays, camera technology is doing it all for you. So go ahead and do that. I still roll with manual, but that's because full control is ideal for me. So, yes. Your computer still isn't working. It's too old. I'm sorry, Joe. Okay. I mean, I guess that's the gist. Here, let's see if we can just copy paste this same. So yeah, generally when we color correct and we color grade on one clip from the same day, we most likely haven't really changed our camera settings. So we can just copy and paste it. So let's just see. Bam. Ooh. That's pretty. Got CineSpace. Definitely made it look a little darker. This is very moody. Look at that. So moody. I generally don't do that for Italy. Okay. What if I turned off the gold tobacco? Maybe I could just bring some exposure in, because I brought the exposure down on the last one because I wanted less of the super white sky. But if I bring it back up here, it's a little better. There we go. Okay, so I hope that covers everything color correction. I hope you guys got through the first minute and a half or two of me not having any volume. I think it's because my microphone is dead. I'm sorry, guys. There's always something. But, you know, I always have my workarounds. So we got everything going, and we talked about color correction, color grading. Oh, we didn't talk about LUTs, but that's okay. We don't need to talk about LUTs right now because looks kind of replace the need for LUTs. LUTs are for like more advanced films, so if you really want to add a specific look to your film, just let me know in the comments, and I will gladly help you one-on-one, whether it's through like Instagram videos showing you how to use them or whatever. Just reach out to me, and we can talk about it. Yeah, also, for I need a new computer. Also for some updates, I just finished creating. Well, it's not finished yet. It's launching next week, but I have another course. It's all on Adobe Premiere Pro 2020. It's called Zero to Hero Adobe Premiere Pro. It's a premium course, and there's a free trial for it. And the link is in the description. I don't think it's in there yet, but I can add it. And it is ParEdits.com/Premiere Pro. You go there, you can check out everything that the course has to offer. It's 5 modules, 25 lessons. There's different themes. It basically takes you from zero to hero, right? So it's like from knowing absolutely nothing about Premiere Pro to ending up making some really high quality video and understanding what it takes to be a professional editor. And it's about 2.5 hours of content, but the free trial gives you the first 2 modules, so please dive right in there. It's pretty cool. Yeah, but right now, if you sign up, you'll join the waitlist, and then you'll get notified as soon as it's ready, which is going to be on the 14th. So, yeah, thanks, guys. I look forward to seeing you in that course, and I hope I was helpful today with all of my color correction tips. But yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. I hope this works. Oh, nope, that didn't work. Okay, here we go. There.